Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day of mathematics. Whoop, whoop. Warm-up 59 is on the screen. Once again, this is a continuing from the previous one. Hopefully, by now you should go a little bit faster. I know we just got back from our break, but that's why we went over it yesterday. So let's see how you do for numbers 1 through 4. I'll give you some time for that. Copy and go. All right, get us started, please. Number 1, how do we complete the square? Diego, Romo, go. Add 10 over 2 squared, and that gives us what? I'm sorry? Yeah, but no. X squared plus 10x plus 25. This has completed the square. All right. And factors, 25, 10. Factors are 5 and 5. And you said it was what? X plus 5 squared. Hands if you got that. All right. Number 2A, B, and C. Share with your neighbor before Diego pass someone. See what they got for 2A, B, and C. Diego, pass someone. Hands if you got 5I for A. Yes. Pass someone, Rita. B. Christina, B. Two square root of 3 over 3. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Before Christina passes it to the next person, double check with your neighbor what they got here. This should be a decimal or a number plus a decimal, approximately, because they got the same thing as you. All right. All right, pass them on, Christina. Jessica, what'd you get for number 2C? It's 5 point something, but it's not 83. So here we go. Between what two perfect square numbers is 30 found? It's between 25 and 36. So that means we subtract the middle from the small. That gives us 5. That becomes a numerator. And then the large from the small, that becomes 11. And now we have a fraction. 5 divided by 11, that's 0 at a decimal. So that's 4 times. That's 44. 6, bring down another 0. 11 into 60, that's 5 times. 5, and I'll stop right there. So this is 5.45. Hands, have you got that? All right, not bad. All right, check with the neighbor, see what they got for number 3 before Jessica passes this to someone. Number 3. All right, Jessica. Who? JP. What'd you get?
I got x plus 9.
Uh-huh. X plus 9, x minus 2. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. And of course, you're not doing the shortcut. You're doing the long version where you have to do the grouping and all that. Yes? All right. And last but not least, number 4. Before I pick someone, show your neighbor the first steps to make sure they got the correct beginning and share your process. And then JP is going to pass it to someone. Number 4. Zoe, get us started. What do we do first? Yeah, change fx to y. That gives us y equals negative 2x plus 10. And from there, we need to leave x by itself. So what did you do, Zoe? Subtract 10 first. Subtract 10 from both sides. That is correct. And we're left with y minus 10 equals negative 2x. And the negative 2 is multiplying, so we need to divide by negative 2 both sides. Divide by negative 2. So this becomes y minus 10 over 2. I'm going to bring the negative to the front like that, and x. However, that's not the inverse. Say never what makes it an inverse. What's going to make it an inverse? Look, that Zoe can pass it to someone so that they can tell us. Zoe, go. Lorena, what makes it the inverse? Yeah, the x for the y. You replace these. So that becomes x minus 10 over 2 equals y. This is the inverse. However, instead of y notation, we need to make it in function notation. This is x minus 10 over 2 equals f inverse of x. All right? Not bad, yes? Yes, Mr. Q. All right. So, with that said, go ahead and submit your warm-up if you haven't done so. And let me post the agenda for today. There it goes. Agenda while you're submitting your stuff. Warm-up number 59, transformation of functions. And tonight's home play, only 5 transformations. Only. All right. Copy that. Make sure you get a Cornell note ready, please. All right, so once again, the agenda, you copy that. Last night's home play, once again, was to revisit the last lesson. So talk it over to your neighbor, let them know what do you remember from the video from last night, because we're going to need that for this lesson. What do you remember from the video from last night? All right, good combo. So tonight's home plate, take a picture of that, please. All right, so again, the home plate for tonight is only 5 problems, and make sure you get those done. And you'll see how pretty much everything you saw in the video is here, except for I have a couple things extra. Other than that, everything's in there. All right, so our objective for today, I can transform a function using different parameters. I can transform a function using different parameters. Write that down in your Cornell notes. And we begin, guys. Today's going to go pretty fast, so make sure you're staying with me. Stay focused, please. And today's going to be a little bit of review just to make sure we get to where we need to be. And the word for this second semester is going to be graphing. So those of you that love graphing, that's all it's going to be, pretty much. A bunch of graphing. Okay? Yes, Mr. Q. All right. So, tell your neighbor the concept we're still on. What concept are we still on? Tell your neighbor the concept. Yeah, functions. Yes, we're still on functions. Yes. So tell your neighbor the definition of functions. They should know that by now without looking at your notes. All right, good. So type it in on your screen. You got 30 seconds. Definition for functions. Whoop. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, by the looks of it, everybody wrote down a relation, input, output. Oh, wow. Wow. Once again, a relation, and for every input, there's an output. All right, good job, everyone. Appreciate it for the little extra graph. Fix. All right, so with that said, let's see how well we remember the graphing portion. Here we go. On your screen, I want you to lock your toolbar, please. And we're going to be graphing on that screen. Let me just zoom in on mine. Okay, is everybody there? All right, I want you to write on your screen f of x equals x to the second power. All right. So before you start graphing it, talk to your neighbor, let them know how that graph is going to look. I don't need a table. I don't need any work here. I just want the graph. Talk it over to your neighbor, let them know how that graph is going to look. Let's see if they remember. It's more like a review. All right, graph it on your screen. Submit. Yep, 20 seconds. To the screen. So here's the process. When they give you something that starts with f of x and just an x on the other side with a little bit of an exponent, we know this is a parent function. So this is a quadratic. And this is how it goes without a table. I start with negative 2 of x, which is right here. And I do it times itself how many times? 2. Negative 2 times negative 2. What is negative 2 times negative 2? Positive 4. So I plot my point at positive 4. Next value, negative 1 of x. Negative 1 times negative 1, that's positive 1, so I place my point at negative 1, positive 1. Then 0, 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. And here is my parent function, f of x. This is a quadratic. Let's see how we did. Oh, let's go. Pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Okay. All right. Let's crank it up a bit. Lock your toolbar really quick. Oh. Here we go. I want you to write in there f of x equals x to the third power. Graph that one right there. All right, if you need help, ask your neighbor. See if they remember. Show your neighbor really quick. Yeah, if you're going elsewhere and then coming back, it's going to kick you out. No? Okay. Give me a second. Code CDTZM. TZM. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see. I'm going to start at negative 2 of x again. And this is to multiply times itself 3 times. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. What is that? Negative 8. So I go from negative 2 to negative 8, which is down here. Next value, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 0 times itself 3 times, 0. 1 times 1 times 1, 1. 2 times 2 times 2, that is 8. So our cubic parent function looks something like that. And you label it f of x. All right. Let's see how we did. Whoa, careful with it. These are quadratic. These are the ones with a square. Cubics are those. Oh, this one. Look at this one. My goodness. It's like, I give up, Miss Q. Oopsie. Wow. All right. Lock your toolbar. Do another one. Here we go. That was good. Oopsie. All right. Write this down. F of x equals x. Yeah, right now we're not using the paper. It's all on the screen. Graph that one. You got 20 seconds. Talk to your neighbor, let him know which kind of graph that is. Say your neighbor. Your neighbor. This is the easiest one, and some of you, this is the hardest one to remember, but this should be the easiest one. All right, here it goes. -2, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. This is a straight line, a straight line. Why a straight line, Mr. Q? Because it doesn't have an exponent on the x. That's a linear. There's an invisible one there, okay? Let's see how we did with our graphs. Oh, not bad. Well, there's a line right there, but not quite where we need the line. This is a quadratic, a negative, negative. Twinkies, oh my goodness. Anyways, all right, lock your toolbar. Let's do another one. Here we go. Twinkies. My goodness, that's going to come out on the YouTube video. Whoever's going to watch it, they're like, Twinkies. And so also the other graphic. Here we go. Graph me this one. Go a little bit faster. F of x equals x to the third power. Go. 20 seconds. Shouldn't take you long. So, there it is. Cubic. So far so good, yes? All right. Lock your toolbar. Like I said, today I'm trying to bring you back because some of us need practice with this stuff. Lock your toolbar. Let me give you another one. See if you can go a little bit faster now. Here we go. We got f of x equals x to the second. 20 seconds. By now you should know what that looks like. All right, so there it is. It's a quadratic, yes? All right, so, what? What's that? Oh my goodness. Anyways, all right, enough of the play stuff. Get your graph paper in front of you. Leave the Chromebook aside. We're still going to use it. And I want you to turn to the side where you have the two graph papers, the two coordinate planes, medium size. And at the top, I want you to write our general rule. G of x equals a times f of x minus h plus k. Write that in there. I'll give you some time. All right. So, g of x equals a times f of x minus h plus k. Now, by now, we should know what each of these parts do, especially since you watched the video last night, yes? So, before I call on someone, tell your neighbor what k does to the entire function. What does k do to the entire function? All right, what does k do to the entire function, Julian? Up and down. So if we substitute a positive number here for k, it moves up. If we substitute a negative number, it goes down. Draw your arrow right there so you remember, please. Oh, it's frozen? Let it go. Have you guys heard that song? Oh my goodness, I had some nieces. Ooh, I have some nieces, but back then they were baby twins, and we watched that movie like, my goodness. All right. So with that said, tell your neighbor what h does to the entire function. What does h do to the entire function? H. What does h do to the entire function? Caleb, go. That's good. Horizontally left or right. So if we substitute a positive value, it moves it to the right. If we substitute a negative value, it's going to move it to the left. Now, pay attention to this part because this is where some of you still get confused. Look up. If I substitute a negative number in here, it moves it to the left, yes? Which means if I substitute a negative number here, with this negative here, it's going to turn all inside into a positive. Does that make sense? You're like, kinda? Yes. All right. And last but not least, parameter A. Tell your neighbor what parameter A does to the function. Talk it over to your neighbor. What does parameter A do to the function? All right. I think Alessandra knows. What does Alessandra know about A? Stretches. Okay, so it's stretch when it's a whole number. So if this was a quadratic, it would stretch like this. Okay. But that's for a whole number. What does it do if it's a fraction or a decimal? Let's see, Alyssa. Yeah, it makes it smaller, or in other words, it compresses. Compress. And it makes it small like this. Yes. All right. Is it coming back? Yes. Like I said, we're trying to ease into what we covered right before we had our final, and then we went to Christmas break. Ate a lot of tamales and carne asada and turkey and ham, cheesy potatoes and ham and cheese tostas. Anyways, you guys get the idea. All right. So with that said, at the top left you have space. Copy this one, example Q. And it reads, graph f of x equals x squared at the top left of your paper. And then it says, given that g of x equals a times f of x minus h plus k, write a new transformed function when a equals 2, h equals 3, and k equals -5. Then graph the transformation. So let me zoom in. You're copying all that information, please, the instructions, because so like that you can have an example just as it's on the home plate tonight. Copy that. All right, so now that we know what each piece does of our transformation, and now we are here, what does it say first? In example Q, it says graph f of x equals x squared. So on your graph paper, do you know how to graph this without a table? Yes, do that first really quick. 20 seconds. You should know how to do that on your paper by now. All right, show your neighbor your graph to make sure they got it. Make sure it's the same. We're on the same page. All right, so what kind of graph is this? A parabola, yes, a curve. So here we go. -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. You graph your parabola and label this f of x. All right, label that, please. Stay focused. Next, they want us to transform it, but first writing our transformation, yes? So that means that we're going to rewrite this. Look up to the screen or you're going to miss it. They want us to rewrite this, but instead of A, tell your neighbor what we're going to write instead of A. Yeah, that is correct, 2. How about instead of H? How about instead of K? Yes. All right, so let's rewrite that. Some of you are getting distracted. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm doing this to review, and some of you are going to start falling behind. This semester is going to go a little bit faster than usual. I'm just giving you a heads up. You need to stay focused. So this is 2 times f of x minus what? 3, close parentheses. What else? Close. Before the -5, what do I write outside the parentheses? Exponent of 2. Yes. -5. Be careful with those. All right. So now we can transform this. So let me move this up a little bit. Tell your neighbor, what does the negative 5 do to the entire function? What does that negative 5 do to the entire function, please? All right, Noel, go. What is it? The negative 5. Moves it down. Draw your arrow down. All right. How about here? What does that 3 do to the entire function? Tell your neighbor, please, before Noel passes it to someone. Noel, pass someone. Alex, what does the 3 do to the entire function? Right. That is correct. 3 steps to the right. Okay. Now that we have that, we need to first do A. What is the A going to do if it's a whole number to the entire function, guys? It's going to what? Stretch it. So let's do the stretch first before we do the last 2 steps. So I'm going to do that in red. Ready? Here goes the process one more time, what we covered before we left. Here it goes. Look up to the screen, you're going to miss it. Look at these 2 points of the parent function. What is the y value for those 2 points? 4, that is correct. So we're going to take that 4 and we're going to multiply it times what? 2, that gives us 8. So that means these 2 points, we're going to move them up to right here and right there. That is correct. Next, let's go with the other 2 points. What is the y value for these 2? 1, okay? But we're going to stretch it because we're going to multiply times what? 2. So now we are at 2. So we're going to move this one up right here and this one right there. And the other one is at 0, 0. So let's sketch our new stretched function. Don't label it at all because right now we're still not done. We only finished what part? A. So what do we do at the end, guys, to finish? 3 to the right and 5 down, each of these points. So let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm using blue for that. This one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sketch your new transform function that's already stretched as well. And this one we're going to label g of x. All right? So, send me your note. Example super Q reads, graph f of x equals x squared. You know how to do that. So you have the next little graph next to what you just did earlier. And then you rewrite your transform function according to a being 1/2, h equals -4, and k equals 3. Then you graph your transform function. Copy that. I'll give you a head start and see how you do with that. You can get help from your neighbor if you forgot. Go. All right, let's see. Help me out, please. It said graph f of x equals x squared. JP, go. Give me the points.
I would say, the point would be,
1, 1.
and 2, 4,
2, 4. Oh, sorry.
and 1, -1.
1, -1? -1, 1. Okay.
And the 2, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully like the
0, 0. Hands if you got up to right there. Okay. Next, Before I ask Dylan, tell your neighbor your new rule according to all these parameters in blue. Let's see what they wrote. Share with your neighbor. Make sure they got the same thing. All right, Dylan, go. 1 times f of x plus 4. Let's go. Let's go. Hands if you, that was a hissing. All right, my bad. Hands if you got that by yourself. Yeah. Remember, if we substitute this -4 in here, -4 times a negative becomes a what? Positive. So be careful with those. All right. So this is going to move which direction according to this one? 3 up. And this one, it was a what? Negative, so it goes 4 to the left because it was a negative, right? Okay? Next, let's do this. Instead of stretching, what is it going to do since it's a fraction? Compress. So let's see. Look at these 2 points. What is the y value? 4. So what is 4 times 1/2? Or 1/2 of 4 is what? 2. So these 2 points are going to come down here and here. Next, these 2 points right here, the y value is 1. So what is 1 times 1/2? 1/2. So these 2 points are going to come down to 1/2 and 1/2. This one is 0, 0. And there it is. Did it compress? Yes. But are we done? No. We need to move it which direction, Fredo? Huh? 4 left and? Yeah, 4 left, 3 up. So let's start with this one. 4 left, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And this one we label g of x. From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with this? Yeah, we got this, right? 5 fourths, okay? All right. So that's pretty much the home plate. The only thing, I'm going to give you a couple that are cubic, but you already know how to graph that. However, look up to the screen before we leave, though. I did give you one of these. Oh, hold on. Send me your notes for that one. I want to see what you did. All right, while you're submitting that, look up to the screen. I'm going to give you one of these. Look up. And it says to graph, first, f of x equals x squared. Do you know how to do that? Yes. But then they ask us to graph this transformation. Doesn't it look kind of weird? Well, I guess Mr. Hughes has a fraction, yes. So to rewrite this, look up to the screen, you're going to miss it. We need to get rid of this 2 on the denominator. How do we do that? Put an invisible one here. Yes, and then this is going to be multiplying the entire thing. So that becomes a fraction. Multiplying what? F of x minus 2 squared plus 3, and all that equals to g of x. And that's how you rewrite those. And do we know what each part does now? Yes, we just did a couple of those. All right, so if you need to take a picture of that, take a picture, because you're going to have one of those on your home plate. All right, once again, the video I'm going to upload at the end. Hopefully by the end of the second lunch, should be uploaded. You need to revisit. And your home plate tonight, it's only 5 transformations. Make sure you get those done. Tomorrow we're moving on. Okay, I'll stop the video right here. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your home plate. Tamales. Bye.